Now, many major musicians and bands depend on our next inductee, guitar legend Bruce Kulick. One of his first major gigs was playing with Meatloaf for the Bat Out of Hell tour. And just a few years later, he'd find himself playing guitar for Michael Bolton before he became a member of Kiss. That's quite a switch. Now, Bruce is a true musician's musician. He's performed and recorded with many major artists and bands, including Bret Michaels, Gene Simmons, Michael Schenker, Ace Frehley, and of course, Paul Stanley.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's me, that glam rock guy from that Dell computer commercial from a few years ago. You know, people always ask me, is Bruce Kulick one of your major influences? And I always go, yeah! And then they say, hey, glam rock guy from that Dell computer commercial from a few years ago, is Bruce Kulick one of the greatest rock guitarists of all time? And I always go, yeah, yeah! And then they say, hey, glam rock guy from that Dell computer commercial from a few years ago, is Bruce's work in Tears Are Falling one of the finest guitar solos in all of rock history? And I always go, yeah! Of course, you know, it's no boomerang, but hey, whatevs. All right, Bruce, rock on, baby, love ya. Ow! Congratulations. Yeah, yeah! Ow!
Bruce Kulick, I love you so much. I was the luckiest girl on earth to be a part of Kiss's non-makeup years in the 90s. So I was around during most of your time with Kiss, and I am so lucky. And even luckier because I'm one of your best friends. You are my Uncle Brucey, and you deserve this Heavy Metal Hall of Fame award. And I am so proud of you, and I love you so much. Congratulations.
Hey, it's Chris Jericho here. So proud and honored to help induct Bruce Kulick, my good friend Bruce Kulick, into the Metal Hall of Fame 2021. And listen, I was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, when Kiss was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Bruce should have been inducted that night as well, but doesn't matter because he's inducted tonight, and that's very, very important. Bruce deserves to be in the Metal Hall of Fame because Bruce was part of my favorite era of Kiss. And that's not just a personal opinion about him. He actually helped Kiss survive and bridge that gap from the 70s until their reunion in the 90s. I find that Bruce is kind of almost an underrated player in Kiss history, but in my opinion is the best guitar player in Kiss history. Yeah, you heard me say it, Bruce Kulick. No offense to anybody else that ever played in Kiss, but Bruce had the perfect blend of 70s taste and 80s shred, and was also a great songwriter as well. You might not know that Bruce actually had a hand in writing a lot of Kiss songs, which of course culminated in the Carnival of Souls record, which I believe Bruce almost wrote or co-wrote every song on that record. So that's more than any other Kiss guitar player. Bruce has definitely created a niche for himself. And whenever I hear one of his tasty solos, I think, you know what? Bruce Kulick should be inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame. And that's why I'm so proud of him for this great honor on this great night. Bruce Kulick has my ultimate respect as a player and as a human being. He's a great guy. He helped us out in my cover band Quarantine, played a solo with us, recreated one of his amazing solos from the song Heart of Chrome. And he's very detail-oriented. He needs to know all the details, but that's the sign of a huge, true pro. And it's a great honor to see Bruce receive this great honor, as he should receive any honor involving rock and roll and heavy metal, because he, to me, is one of the true cornerstones of why I love Kiss and why the 80s era, Bruce's era, is my favorite. It's very important. So congratulations, Bruce. Congratulations, Mr. Kulick, and many, many, many more awards coming for you. Cheers, my friend.
Bruce Kulick, congratulations on your Metal Hall of Fame award. Much deserved. Bruce, you're a great guitar player, you're a great musician, but most importantly, you're an even better human being. And I'm proud to call you my friend. You know, many times on our travels throughout our careers, we have some short-term relationships with different musicians, but sometimes those friendships become lifetime friendships. And that's how I like to think of our friendship. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be your bratty, obnoxious little brother that you never had. Anyways, Bruce, I wish you the best. Congratulations on a much-deserved award.
Hi, I'm Lisa Lane Kulick, Bruce Kulick's wife, and I couldn't be more excited that he's being inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame. When I was trying to figure out what to say today, I realized that, ironically, Bruce's career is sort of like the soundtrack of my life. Now, there's a 12-year age difference with us, and when I was in grade school, my very favorite song was More by Andrea True Connection, and he was in the touring band. And when I was in junior high, there was no better album than Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. And again, he was the touring guitarist for the band. In high school, wouldn't have been the same without the non-makeup Kiss years. My entire room was plastered in Kiss posters. And Bruce's face was probably the last person I saw before going to bed at night, and the first one that I saw when I woke up in the morning. And that's still the same today. And I can tell you, he is a very, very humble person. I remember meeting the band back in 1986, and I found him to be very kind and extremely shy. Maybe he's not so shy these days, but he gets up early in the morning, he goes downstairs, takes care of business, works on music, engages and connects with the fans. I couldn't be more proud of him. And in my opinion, there's nobody that deserves this more than he does. So thanks.
I want to thank you all for this induction into the Metal Hall of Fame. It really does mean a lot to me. I first, of course, want to, thank my influences. The British Invasion, what incredible music and all those guitars. Bands like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Cream and The Who. And then on to people like Eddie Van Halen, who really supercharged lead guitar players. And that was my big role while I was in Kiss, to be extremely competitive on lead guitar. And somehow that makes me part of this metal community. Big shout out, of course, to Gene and Paul for what a fantastic opportunity to be the lead guitarist in such a famous band. And I want to thank the other artists on the way, people like Meatloaf, Billy Squier, Michael Bolton. And then the last 20 years, I've been with Grand Funk Railroad, thanks to Don and Mel. What a ride, I have to say. Now, do I consider myself a metal guitar player? Not completely. But, with all that, heavy riffing that I did, especially in the Kiss years, I guess I do get categorized as a metal guitar player. Big shout out to my wife for all the loving support. And in this past year, I've gotten extremely close with all the fans. Not traveling as much and interacting with them. And that's been fantastic. So I love my award. I love my career. I love the fact that I'm being honored here by the Metal Hall of Fame. So thank you so much, and especially for those people who gave me the big shout outs you saw before my induction. Thank you so much again from Bruce. Hopefully many more years of rock and roll.